Here we are. Monsieur Balisong 500 subscribers special with a tier list. So, this is weird. I didn't expect to get 500 so quickly. I'm recording this video at 495 because I'm expecting those 5 to just pop in any second. So I'm going to upload this the second that it hits 5. But this video, basically the concept is I have taken pictures of every single Balisong I've ever owned and I want to rank them. S through F. S obviously meaning replicant. F meaning avoid at all cost. Thank you. F meaning avoiding at all cost. And then B and C are, you know, pretty nice. Not that great. So you'll see some Balisongs it's just like a one-off, like a Benchmade 51. That's just because every Benchmade 51 I've owned is the same. But then you'll notice, especially with replicants, I put in different versions of each one. And that is because I've had many different replicants and each one definitely felt different. So we're going to start off with the cute 1-inch Balisong. And this is going to go lower average because it is so funny. It actually flips. It makes everybody laugh. But it's also a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit butterfly knife, but it gets a laugh out of people. Fatsy, there's not much to say about that. Next we're going to go with the Benchmade 30, I think is what it's called. It is a stainless steel. It's about the size of a Benchmade 32. And, you know, this is going to also go into a C, because aesthetically it's a very beautiful butterfly knife. Came out before the 42 came out, or the whole 4X series. It's super classic, but it's way too heavy to flip. The blade steel is really outdated, and it's more of a collector's piece to look at. Now we've got the Flytanium Lucha, the Luca Lucha. Now this thing is interesting. I still have it, which is not many of these knives I'm showing you I still have, but I do still have this Flytanium Lucha. This thing feels like water with its bearing system. And the weight is perfect. Very nice butterfly knife. Just a little bit too rectangular for me, so I'm going to keep it at B. Flips very nice, but kind of hard to get spinny tricks in on one handle because it's too rectangular. Balio, D. Piece of shit, breaks. The only reason it's not an F is because you can actually use it as a pen. Other than that, piece of shit. Now this is a picture of a Bradley Chimera 2 mirror polish. I had a Bradley Chimera 3 mirror polish. I can't find a single picture of it anywhere on the internet, so that's really weird. But this was my first ever high quality butterfly knife. I went from 2 piece of shit Chinese flea market pickups, and then this was like 140. And I am gonna throw it into a solid B because damn is it's nostalgic for me. It's my first ever high quality butterfly knife. Whew. Now next is going to be a Polytheus custom Benchmade 51. That's going into A. Kind of hard to see the picture. Hold on a second, I'll show you the picture. There you go. That's the picture right there. This thing right here, I owned this for only about 2 weeks, but that's because I wanted to fund another butterfly knife I really wanted. But this thing was, you could just tell by looking at it, it is gorgeous. It looks better than any Flytanium version, which I think they have 10 Benchmade 51, starting from V0 to V9, which are all beautiful, but something is special about this Polytheus. Alright, next is the classic Benchmade 51. That is going to go into a C column. It is fun to flip around a light-ass butterfly knife that's only like 3-point-something ounces, but the fact that there's a whole aftermarket situation going on where people just try to change this knife kind of shows that it's not the best where it's at right now. Alright, next we have an OSP Matrix. I did a pass around with this knife. I flipped it for 1 day and oops, shipped it back out. I'm not going to bring in any outside drama. I know there's issues with the creator and being back behind on pre-orders. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to talk about how this thing flipped. This thing flipped A tier. Beautiful. The texture on it was really cool. Wacky knife. Next is an Atropos Chris 1 of 1. That's going straight into A. I bought it at an auction. It was the only knife made of that kind, and I happily had it. I shipped it out to get an interesting knife. OSP Trainer. Sorry. Really bad for blade bias and really bad tap. Amazon cheap shit. Piece of plastic bottle opener. F. Never buy Amazon $10 butterfly knives. Flea market piece of shit. F. The tang pin fell out after a week. Black Balisong Zolo. This is a really, really cool butterfly knife. It is so in a league of its own. It's very odd. It's very interesting and distinct. It flips really nice, but the handles are just a little too skinny. I really do want to throw it in A, but I don't know if I want it to be at B. I'm going to put it at the top of B. I might move that forward in the future. DDR Gemini. Flipped really nicely, didn't have it that long. I'll throw it into A because it was a beautiful, nice flipping butterfly knife. Steel Lucha. That's going to go into C. Flips really poorly, but is a really nice price knife. This is a V1 Squid Trainer Triton. This is going to go into a C. Really nice weight, but the Zen pins fall out. It was a pain in the ass. I hated that thing, and I loved it. Benchmade 32. This is going to go into a B. Why is it better than a 51? Because it's small and it knows that it's just a utility knife. You can flip it, but not that well. But it does great as a utility knife. Ham Prodigy. Lower... this just felt like a nothing Balisong. Like, it did what it needed to do, but nothing was special about it. So I'm going to throw it in C, but upper C, because that's a joke. It was really nice, but just nothing felt special about it. This is your GP custom that Tails is holding. That thing was wacky. That thing was incredibly high quality. A little too high quality for me to even want to flip it that much. So I'm actually going to pop it down and B, pop this Zolo back up. It's just something about butterfly knives that are that expensive and that custom makes me too afraid to flip them, and it kind of loses some rank in my mind. It's just how my mind works. Spasm Fingers Heron. Very interesting design. Flips really nicely. But the play is something that needs to be addressed on this thing. He did say he's going to give new spacers that fit. So in the hopes that he does give new spacers that fit, I'm going to put it at the end of B. And if it does, it might go back up to the top of B. This is an alt replicant. It's an S tier. That is an S tier. It's a replicant. Squid Trainer V1. I'm going to put this in front of the Lucha. This was a beautiful knife to flip. I think I had number like 32 out of 50. I sold it for something. I don't remember what. But it was just really fun, and I think it was his first ever butterfly knife. Lucas's. This is... You might be looking at this like, what the hell? It is the first butterfly knife I ever owned. It was a Rost Frey, which is just German for stainless steel. It was a Jaguar copy. And this is going S tier. First butterfly knife I ever owned. Come on. Piece of shit knife, but 100% nostalgic. Yes, the handle snapped off at the metal. Yes, I put flame anno on the blade. And it is, I still have it somewhere. I'll have to find it. We're gonna avoid that one. This is a Benchmade 42AS, anodized, T-latch, serrated. It was a pre-production model. I'm gonna just throw that into the I'm gonna throw that into the C. Something about T-latch 4Xs. They're squeaky. Their latches are so unappealing to listen to. I really don't like T-latch 4Xs. Springer 4X. I'm gonna put that right behind the GP. The 42s are highly overrated, but they still are a damn nice flipping knife. Alpha Beast 2.0. I had this quite a few years ago. I want to say 2016, maybe 2015. That's just going in the B column behind the 42. I'm just not a huge Alpha Beast fan. They always stuck to my fingers. They looked nice, but they were a little bit too clanky. Replicants were a much nicer build quality. This is a V2 blue replicant that I owned. It's going straight up in the S tier. Nice knife. I had it in 2016. Microtech Tachyon Tanto. Beautiful knife. If I went off of its looks, it would be A. But when I combined its flippability, it didn't flip that well. I'd throw it behind the Flytanium Lucha. Very beautiful knife, but it just didn't do it for me, you know? Next is just Flytanium in general. I've had maybe 4 different types of Benchmade 51 Flytaniums, but they weren't different enough feeling to me. They all just kind of melded together in my mind, so I just stuck with this blue and yellow one that I had anodized. And this Flytanium is gonna stick into the B column near the end, because while Flytanium makes a 51 more flippable, it doesn't make it that much more flippable. The raw titanium is just way too sticky for someone with sweaty ass hands like me. But the customization is nice. Pretty nice overall. Benchmade 62. D. Avoid it. It's a piece of shit. It's an overpriced $300+ butterfly knife that's stainless steel and is too short to do anything with. I don't know what they were thinking. Flytanium makes it way nicer, but it's too expensive to buy a 60 something and then buy Flytanium. It's just like, at that point, just buy a $600 GP custom or something. Benchmade 47. The nicest looking knife ever made. Popping right up here, S tier. I don't like the way it flips, but the looks are enough to throw it into S for me. Atropos TF2. Now this was a easy top of the A tier right here. This thing is the reason I got into butterfly knives. So the Benchmade, the TF2 spy knife right here, I loved this thing in like 2008, and then 2 years later my dad in 2010 bought me this thing when I was 13 years old. But this is what I learned on, and then 10 years later, 11 years down the line, I finally get the knife that got me into butterfly knives, and there's something damn special about that. So that's sitting right at the top of A. Next we have the laminated demon. It's gonna go right behind. It's gonna go right there. Easily one of the most gorgeous butterfly knives I have ever owned. But due to the chiseling of the handles losing handle weight and then putting copper and brass in the laminated blade, increasing blade weight, makes this thing just a little too blade heavy for me. So it's really just the looks alone that are guiding it. And its play is perfect. It's just not my kind of bias. Spyderco 2. Now this is going to go one ahead of the Benchmade 51. because just like the Benchmade, I mean 32, Benchmade 32, just like the Benchmade 32, the Spyderco Small Fly 2 is an amazing pocket knife. It's good for what it does. It's short, you can't really flip it that well, but the reason it beats the 32 is because it has a much better blade steel. It's got S30V, meanwhile the 32 has D2 that's going to rust all day on you. And here we have my newest butterfly knife, a V1 replicant. Top S. V1 replicant is the pinnacle quintessential butterfly knife that I think everyone should own, but unfortunately is incredibly hard to get. And let me just take this. Let me teach you guys about this, because I haven't talked about this on the channel yet. Hold on, let me just get a picture of this. Okay, so I've brought you here for a reason. This is the most important knife. This is my, from 2015, BRS V1 replicant that someone shaved, ground in these into the chevrons, these weird spots, completely just grinded off the Tanto. You could see they cut the scales and the liners about a ½ inch off. This is the weirdest butterfly knife I ever owned. I bought it for $150. I sold it for $150. And I cannot find it. I can't get it back. She was the one that got away. She is my favorite butterfly knife. Top of the list, no question. So just going back through, Balio deserves to be at the back of D. These two deserve to be down here. 62 is better than the OSP Trainer. 42 anodized is better than that, better than the Triton, better than the Steel Lucha, but not better than the 51. This deserves to go back there. Okay. Heron, sorry, you're going to be at the end of B because you flip really well, but your tolerances are bad. 31, amazing utility. Small Fly 2, amazing utility, better. Flytanium makes the 51 good, but not amazing. Bradley Chimera, just really nostalgic. What is this? Tachyon 2. Beautiful butterfly knife, overpriced. Flytanium Lucha, nice but too rectangular. Squid Trainer 1, great beginnings for squid industry. Alpha Beast 2, overhyped but still nice. I'm going to actually pop that back here. 42, overhyped, really nice. GP Blades, really nice, but too scared to flip it because it's so expensive. And here we have the A. We're going to keep the Zolo. We're going to actually pop the Zolo here. So the DDR Gemini is really nice, but I don't know. It's just something felt soulless about it. Atropos Chris, beautiful prototype, really fun. Laminated Demon, nicest knife I ever owned. Zolo is just such a cool knife for its price. So special. Yeah, OSP Matrix, one of the best flipping butterfly knives I've ever flipped, but hard to get. And yeah. Polytheus 51, just a really special knife that looks as sleek as it flips. The Atropos Spy Knife, the whole reason I got into butterfly knives. Now this is my first ever butterfly knife ever. It's a piece of shit, but it's S. Benchmade 47 is an S just because of its looks. We got the... This is basically just a basic replicant. Even though it's a premium V2, it's just, that's kind of the basic replicant. So that's going to be a 4th place replicant. 3rd place is the alt rep because it really does change the style of the flipping. 2nd place is a V1 stock rep. 1st is my impossible to find replicant. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for getting me to 500 subscribers, and hell, I'll see you in the next video. Here's to 1,000.